Joined at the office of Winter High School head football coach Dan Aaker right after practice on Friday morning as the Warriors preparing this week for the Bennett County Warriors in quarterfinal playoff action. Coach, you guys got off to a great start on Tuesday facing the defending state champion Parkston Trojans and coming up with the second win over that team this year. Can you recap a little for us?
Yeah, the first drive I thought was really, really important for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think I mentioned this last pregame. I wouldn't have been surprised if they come out something defensively, and in a sense, kind of give them credit because they knew that they had to stop our big plays somehow because that was the difference in the first game. I certainly wasn't expecting an 8-man front, and I was thinking I don't know if we've seen an true 8-man front ever in the years I've been coaching. So I thought our guys handled that well, and it took some adjusting, not only for blocking but play calling from my end. But we ground out a nice drive. We had, I think, 3 fourth-down conversions. We tried a fake punt, which looked like it was going to be there at the snap, and it wasn't. But Drew made a really nice decision to get out of there, and he kind of had a run, throw, and shovel pass, and that was a big play. But we've talked kind of all year about we haven't had to sustain a drive. Redfield was probably the closest we had to, and even that was more of a 6-7 yard gain type thing. Where these were, it took all 4 downs to get a first down. So I think our guys needed that number one, and it was really big that we finished that drive off with the score. Kind of a traditional winter drive that was. That that we 5, 6, 7 minutes. I think it was about 7 minutes, and we were into the win, so we took time away from them to go with the win. And really set the tone, I think, for the game physically. We made a nice defensive stop, and then we had a fumble and gave them good field position. And then I think the interception by Luttrell really got us going and deflated them a little bit. And then we had a nice long run by Riley. And, when you're going to sell out like that, you're going to give things up. And we would hit Isaac over the top. And then the screen he's led in the end zone by about 7 of our guys. So we had a lot of big plays and comfortable lead at halftime, game in hand, and came out and put a couple more on in the third quarter and got some guys in the game and got out of there relatively healthy. And nice playoff win. Parkston's a solid team. We said that all year. I think you agreed with me on that. And but physically, we really kind of controlled that game. I think we kind of beat them up a little bit. They had some guys that went out. It's unfortunate for them, but played well. Our guys are pretty motivated and ready. We've talked all year. The first round loss last year has been a motivating factor for these guys. So it feels good to get over that hump and now focus on our next opponent and keep playing the way we've been playing and keeping that mental edge and be ready to go. But it's a nice win against a quality team.
Marty and I were talking about that during the game. I don't think we've had a 10-play drive all year until that one, and I believe that was 16 plays.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of concerning, but not really, because I still think we're a team that can make big plays. But you're going to have to do that sometime. We're going to see an opponent that's going to, we're going to have to grind against, and having to, at least now we have one in knowing that we can sustain a drive and eat clock and pick up first downs and not rely on the 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 yard play to score. And so I think just from a confidence standpoint, I was glad to see it. I don't know if the guys, they're just playing football, but I think they'll know that in the back of their mind. If we see a situation like that, we can move the chains and eat clock when we need to.
Seeing a fairly new opponent, somebody the Warriors haven't faced since 1980 in the Bennett County Warriors, and Coach Tony Reeder out there. Coach, what in your scouting have you learned, and what do you anticipate from the Westerly Warriors?
Well, a couple things. They've been playing solid defense the last they've been playing really good football the last 3 or 4 games, and they've scored 50 points the last 3 games, including the first round playoff against Lead. And the only score that they've given up in those 3 games, I believe, was an interception return. So defensively, they haven't really gave up a lot. They struggled a little bit mid-season, and I think they had a couple guys out. I've been really impressed watching film with the Petrick running back. He's fast. He's a good player, and they play different when he's on they look like they play different when he's in the game. Like they have confidence, like they know they can win. Like he is the guy that can do that. We got to contain him, and that starts at the line of scrimmage. I think we have the edge at the line of scrimmage like we've had all year, and we're going to have to control the line of scrimmage and then get to him, and we got to be physical. I don't think that they've seen a team. Well, I know they have not seen a team as physical as we are, so we got to bring that to the table and see how they react to that. a lot of different schemes defensively, and quite honestly, watching on film, sometimes I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. Um, so that makes it a little bit tough, I think, when you're trying to game plan of things you may want to hit or whatever. But we really just talk to our guys. There's times when they may not have a down lineman. I mean, almost kind of, stacking the box and standing up but they don't really shift a lot. So it's a matter of we really kind of went in the mindset this week of offensively we're blocking man on man and account for everybody, and we feel one on one that we can beat them. So that's what we have to do. We just make sure we account for everybody and keep doing the things we're doing. But I think they're playing confident. I saw in the paper, Coach Reeder, he knows they're playing confident, playing their best football, and feels that they're a competitive team. And I think he even said that there would be trouble for anybody they saw. So that they're playing with some confidence, and we'll be ready for them. Our guys are, they're just. This is probably one of the more mentally focused teams I've seen, or goal oriented. I'd say we've had some really good ones, but collectively, from top to bottom, there's just that sense about them that is encouraging as a coach, and nice to see it and just the way they're kind of walking. And it's not an arrogance; it's just a feel like we're going to play well, and that they expect to play well every time they step out there. And so we're just going to continue doing that.
Last question: playoff picture. There's a lot of discussion on how you want to set that up. Do you want, to try to ensure to get those 8 best teams? I've always kind of enjoyed the fact that you get a matchup like this tonight, a team that we haven't seen in, nearly your and my lifetime. So do you like that as a coach to be able to see and experience those different challenges?
Yes, and I think that's one of the things I think with the whole state going forward. And they made a lot of changes the last few years, but I think that's something that is a good thing. Everybody talks about travel on weeknights, and I get that, and that education part of it, I get that. But it's also nice to see different teams. And it just adds a different flavor. It adds, it's challenging, I think, for coaching staffs because you're going against teams you haven't seen. It's not a team you've played year in, year out, and you've already played once in the regular season. It just adds a little something to it, and the format, you could be debating forever about what's the best to get the best 8 teams. And my first question would be, well, how do you know if they're the best 8? Who's going to decide that?
Yeah.
Let's decide it on the field. But I think it adds an exciting picture. And that's kind of the 8. Most of them are very unfamiliar. Tri-Valley and Roncalli, I don't know the last time they played. That's been a while. Bridgewater, Groton, they haven't played. Custer, Sioux Valley, they haven't played. Winter, Bennett County, they haven't played. So I think that adds a nice little twist to 11B. They're all not very familiar with each other, and that probably makes it exciting for the kids and the fans too, just to see something different and get tested by different teams. So yeah, I like the way it's kind of unfolded this year. It's not always the case. I like that we've gotten away from all region play. I think that's a good thing, just for the things we've talked about. But there's no guarantee you're not going to see a region opponent all the way to the state championship. If that it could play out like that. But I like the format this year and how it's kind of even out and everybody's seeing a different team.
Appreciate your time. Best of luck on Monday night.
Thanks, Bob.